Welcome back, all my 40k fanatics out there. I'm DJ here with Tim's Nation to bring you another Warhammer 40k battle report. Once again, joined by my good buddy Lane, and we will be testing out some tournament builds today. Stuff that we'd actually plan on taking competitively. Now, while the final version may be completely different than what we're running today, this is the starting point, and in some ways, very skewed in specific directions, so we can start to gauge how much we need to do in these areas.
Yeah, we're trying some stuff out. That's what's happening today.
Basically. But with both of these lists, there's two things. One, yes, we are very skewed in a specific direction because we want to see how much of that we actually need to make these things function. And number two, these lists actually are a very, very picture-perfect idea. If you were to say how we play 40K and how we view armies, the armies would like everything entirely of what makes a Lane army, what makes a DJ army. This is it. Lane and shoot it till it's gone.
Yeah.
The best army is a dead army.
Your opponent can't score points if they're not on the table.
Exactly. And my way is the best way to win 40K is to not play 40K. So I try and play a game that's very uninteractive and scoring it. But it's a style that I like, a defensive style of catch me if you can sort of things, little magic tricks and that. All right, guys, as always, please subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for notification, get notified on all the content we bring you here on the channel. As you know, we do not do we'll give you a brief little army list of what we're bringing today. But if you want to see more details on what we were thinking, what we're looking at with these designs, please follow us and check out those other army videos, as well as a post-game video where we kind of go over some of the stuff that we noticed from the game, talks, maybe the initial changes that we might make to the list. Now, a couple things we need to cover before we get over to the list. Number one, yes, I am wearing those sweatpants that you're not allowed to leave the house in. At least my wife will never let me leave the house in them. But that is because I am celebrating today. And these are my Steelers sweatpants. I tried to order a pair off Amazon. They came in floods. So I'm wearing these today anyways because the Steelers made the playoffs. Probably 80% of our fan base doesn't even care about that. Yeah, but I do, and I'm happy, and I'm celebrating. Yeah, my
50% of the hosts of this show don't care about that, so...
50% of the time they care. He cares none of the time. But I do. I'm happy. I'm just celebrating it. Even though I'm probably going to get knocked out in the first round again. You don't really know all that going on and everything. Sadly, hey, we still got there. And secondly, we'll be playing for one of these today. See, Lane has, in his tiresome evenings here, has left me some presents. And one of these is a Deathwatch dice. And one of these is a Votan dice. And today, since the Deathwatch are here, he will have an opportunity to win back his dice. With that being said, I think it's a perfect segue to say, Lane, tell us what you're bringing today.
All right, today's Deathwatch list is a little different. Please check out my separate video to see what all the details are. But basically, this whole army puts out 110 shooting attacks that have the Dev Wound ability, and we're going to be hoping to reroll all hits and wounds for one turn to really make those Dev Wounds pop off. But the actual list itself has two characters, a captain with a relic shield. His enhancement is the Tome of Ectoclades, that for one turn I will pick 2 Oath of Moment targets and reroll all hits and wounds. Then also we have an Apothecary Biologist. His enhancement is the Beacon Angelus, lets his unit Deep Strike and Rapid Ingress for free. Then we've got a Company Heroes unit. We've got 12 Eradicators, 1 6-man and 2 3-mans. We have a 5-man of Deathwatch Terminators. This Deathwatch Terminator squad has 3 Assault Cannons and then 2 guys with Thunderhammer and Storm Shield. We have one little Invader ATV, also with a Gatling Cannon on him. Then we've got 3 of the Redemptor Dreadnoughts, Heavy Onslaught Gatling Cannon and regular Gatling Cannon for their loadouts. And then 2, new to the channel, Repulsor Executioners with the big old laser guns on top. And they also have Onslaught Gatling Cannons for more Dev Wounds.
All right, making its debut on the channel is going to be the Hypercrypt Legion. This is the Legion that plays very similar to Grey Knights, as it has the army-wide ability to pick up, and since it's a 2,000-point game, up to 3 units and put them in strategic reserve. From there, they can re-enter whichever rules they may have. If they have the Deep Strike rules, they can re-enter with Deep Strike. So with that being said, this is going to be my list that is going to try to max out secondaries and basically just score before Lane shoots me off the table. All right, so what we're bringing today. So first start with what I'm going to be deploying. I have 2 squads of Ophidians. These guys will be able to jump back up in reserve and not take away from my point costs. Really good unit for scoring points. 3 2-mans of the Spiders. Excellent target for a 4-up invuln strat, which we'll talk about during the game. I also have a 6-man squad of Wraiths. led by a Technomancer, who's going to be my Warlord. These guys will have the ability to auto-advance 6 inches. I have 3 Gauze Destructor Locust Heavy Destroyers, as well as 3 of the Enigmatic Exterminators. The Exterminators are going to be led by a Locust Lord to allow them to also have the Deep Strike keyword. I have 2 5-mans of the Death Marks. They have Deep Strike, which will make them really useful in this detachment as kind of my baseline foot troop, as well as a 6-man squad of Scarabs. Had the points, had to drop the Convergence of Dominion, sadly. And I have Spiders, so why not? Going over into Deep Strike, I will be taking one of the 2, or in reserve, I will be taking one of the 2-man squads of Spiders and putting them in strategic, also to be joined by my Canoptic Tomb Sentinel, a 3-man squad of Scarabs, and the 6-man squad of Locust Destroyers, which will have the ability that when they come on from reserve, they will be able to reroll all of their hits that first round they come in from reserve. So, I got a lot of units.
Yeah, you do. I got a lot of bullets.
I feel like we've said that a lot this edition.
Yeah.
I've been, it's weird. I went from like Death Star builds early on, and now it's just like, I start building into more and more. I think some of it's the fact that just over the time frame, I've, much like yourself, you start to just gain a ridiculous amount of an army that's table ready, and you start looking at silly lists, and you go, oh man, this would be cool. And then you stop and go, I have all that. I could build that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I like it. I feel like the Hypercrypt really plays to my style. And what is going to be especially nice about this right now is we are planning that team event at the end of the month. And the Great Eye list I played is the one that, as we've discussed as a team, I will most likely be taking. This plays very similar to the Grey Knight list. If this looks good, there's maybe a possibility of a switch. Necrons have more teeth than Grey Knights do. So it's definitely interesting there. Now, with that, all that being said, let's jump over into the Deathwatch real quick, because you do not have a lot of secondary stuff.
No, I mean, like I said, I can win the game if I just hose you off the table.
This is true.
I definitely made some choices in this list where I had to cut some of the things that are more for scoring. Like I had the Calidus Assassin in there, but I needed to have my captain on the table during my command phase in order to pop off his enhancement. So I put the company heroes in there. I converted these guys up from some veteran Marines, and so I hadn't had a chance to use them yet, but this is the perfect time because I have a captain that's not going to be attached to a unit, but I need to keep them alive. And with your ability to teleport in, and lots of armies' ability to teleport in, it puts him at risk if he's not attached to a unit.
And the strange inclusion, one thing that we haven't really had to test against, I've had it hit me a couple of times more in close combat and hand-to-hand, where a unit can go into precision. But having the Death Marks, which are 10 sniper rifles, it's going to be interesting to see if that factors in with characters at all. Again, it's something easy to play around. Like you can get around that factor easily by your characters are infantry, put the character out of line of sight, but the guys are out there. Then you kind of get around that. So we'll see if it actually matters anything to it. I'm more about it for the 65-point deep striking unit. So that's, to me, it's like anything else from that point is a win. Also, and then like you said, a very good point to it is early game, you know, your first turn, you get 2 secondary cards. You look at one, go, okay, I could do this one with little effort. This one I can't do. I'd have to put effort towards it. And you go and pitch that one for a command point to knock units off the table. And then later on, like you said, suddenly you're cleansing an objective with a 6-man squad of Eradicators because they have nothing else to do. So, and I mean, cleansing an objective with a tank. You know, and then when you get to that point, if you can just go, okay, nothing now is in my way. Now I'll start scoring secondaries to do that. You're, in some senses, I feel like you're looking at an army that you're trying to score like 85, 88 points is like your happy threshold of points. But because of the fact that, again, if you spend all that time eliminating your opponent, what's your opponent going to do? Score 44, 45 points? Right.
Yeah. So, no, it's one of those things where I do have some scoring ability, but not really like, I don't really feel like Investigate Signals is going to pop off for me because, you know, it's going to be spread out. I'm not going to be able to do that. But like the 3-man Eradicator squads riding around the tanks, they're only 90, 95 points. If they have a turn where they jump out to deploy teleport homers or something, or cleanse, I'm not going to be too sad about that. Again, you don't have that many vehicle units. You have some vehicles, but it's not like they're going to be necessary to pop transports, which is what I built them for in the list. So as a backup, they can pop out of a tank, pop out of the repulsor executioner, do an action, control an objective, something like that. Get into a table quarter. So I think there's still some play there for some of the secondaries. It's not like it has 0 secondary game, but and yeah, I've been toying with the idea of dropping all the dreadnoughts and just doing 3 Terminator squads and then 3 of the Invader ATVs. It just gives me more dev wounds, but they also move 12 inches and they're a little unit that can scooch out there and do something.
And do, like you said, do complete secondaries, go to a corner and stuff like that.
Yep.
And again, like what you said with Eradicators, like their jobs and roles and stuff like that, hitting the locusts, I mean, the damage output there, that's an entire body. They could just kill a locust, or the wraiths for that matter with their feel no pain. You know, being able to put wraiths 4 wounds apiece, if you get a 5 or a 6 on it, now you're looking at picking up a wraith instead of, haha, I just soaked up 2 of these damage on those guys.
Yeah, the problem is they're not that efficient when they don't get the rule of being able to reroll all their hits, wounds, and damage.
No, and they do need that Melta range as well to kind of help push that damage. Yeah. But Melta works against infantry too now. So if you're within half that range, you're going to get that extra damage against infantry, or in this case, beast for my race.
Thank you for offering up things for me to shoot, DJ. I appreciate it.
Well, this is
I appreciate that you're letting me know that I can shoot all your stuff.
This is this is an important thing that doesn't get seen around a lot. Is a lot of people, when we get the opportunity to play this, and this is a long game. This can be a 3-hour game, and with that, we'll get over into it. But a lot of times, people are very afraid to tell their opponent how to beat them. And in the end of it all, you know, you may win that game playing a game against your buddy and you go, yeah, okay, I got them. They're good. I win with this. And you go to a tournament, someone already knows that trick. And then you don't have a backup plan in and out. And one thing that Lane and myself, we do a lot, we're constantly looking at this and going, if you do that, I'm going to do this. And giving that stopping moment of it just to give extra information across the table of it, to really put ourselves in poor positions to be able to fight out of, so that when everything works great, cool. You don't need to practice when everything's good. Everything's good. You roll 6s, you win. That's it.
Yeah.
But when things go wrong, that's when we need to figure out and try and dig into those units and find those little hidden extra abilities that help capitalize and make things, such as our last game with the AdMech robots, when everything just started to, oh, this does this, does this, does this. Oh, wow. That's really good. So, all right, we've gabbed enough. We're going to be talking more later. Let's get into the game. Lane, you know the drill.
Yay, my friend.
And it's odd. Can't keep the trend going. And the streak is broken. This is the first time Lane has lost the dice roll this year.
It is?
It is.
Oh, wow.
You won the other one.
The other one?
You're 50-50 odds.
Yeah.
You're like most of the AFC North. Again, reference you wouldn't know.
I don't know what an AFC is.
All right. All right. Well, Lane will be deploying first, and we'll be back after deployment. All right. We are deployed. So, Lane, talk to us about what we are doing today.
Our deployment today is sweeping engagement. What is this? Grilled cheese slices? I don't know. I don't know what the food equivalent is.
It's Dawn of War on an angle.
Right. Our mission.
Hammer and anvil on an angle and Dawn of War on an angle. This is Dawn of War on an angle.
All right. Crooked Dawn. Dutch
Crooked Dawn. I like it.
So our mission special rule today is secret intel. This means after we draw 2 secondary cards, we may draw a third one and discard one if we want to. We don't have to draw 3, but we do. We can draw an extra one if we want to, but we can only have 2 active. So you discard one if you draw an extra. And then, the mission is Purge the Foe. This is kill 1, kill more, hold 1, hold more. So if you hold 1 objective, you get 4 points. If you hold more objectives than your opponent, you get another 4 points. If you kill an enemy unit, you get 4 points. And then if you kill more enemy units than they killed of yours, you get 4 points there as well.
This is a good mission in the sense for both of us, where I have a tendency of being able to usually control objective markers with the volume of units that I have during the early game. You definitely have a lot more damage output, so it's going to be hard to... killing a unit, I can do that and score a couple points there. But killing more units, one, I have a lot of units, so it's going to be a lot easier for you on that one. So I'm definitely going to have to play those primaries. All right, let's talk about our deployments. So I am hiding. Seems to be a trend with my armies. I want to make sure that going first or going second, I'm able to pick up. So realistically, there isn't very much to say as I'll pan out here and give you guys kind of a view. I'm just putting everything behind walls and just trying to hide so that I can start picking units up and start teleporting around the field. The only real thing of note and interest, and this is where we get into kind of dropping units down and talking about with opponents. Lane has this dreadnought over here, and I asked him before the game if he's able to, if he goes first, all scenarios he goes first, can he shoot the scarabs, the spiders, and talking about his 8-inch move and everything like that, and clearing it with my opponent. And I recommend doing this at tournaments too, to make sure that the scarabs, even on an 8-inch move, he would not be able to draw a line of sight to them. Spiders, maybe, but spiders can take that hit and can survive through that. Scarabs, not so much. So that was one thing that we were discussing and checking, and then we were looking over here at these spiders too, and looking at with all the lanes, and again, seeing if there was any way any of his units could move out and draw a line fire down center field. They're not, so I was able to safely deploy them here. Only place I'm not safe is right back here in the backfield where my Locust Heavies are and my Wraiths are. And why are they not happy? Well, let's let Lane talk about that right now.
Great big dumb lasers on great big dumb tanks.
Yep.
So
this is over to Lane.
I've got 2 of the Repulsor Executioners. Now, they got a ton of piddly little shots that don't really add up to a whole lot. And then 2 big laser shots. So these lasers, they get 2 shots. Their strength 16, AP 4, D6 plus 4 damage. So they do have the ability to damage some big things. And then about, I don't know, like 35 extra little shots in there as well. And each of these Repulsor Executioners does have an Eradicator, a 3-man Eradicator squad in it. And then we've got Redemptor Dreadnoughts up here ready to go. We've got the ATV ready to zip out there if he needs to sacrifice himself for a secondary. And the other Redemptor over here. In Deep Strike, I have the Terminator squad and the 6-man Eradicator squad with the Apothecary.
Right. And as well, I have again to mention, the Canoptic Tomb Sentinel is in Deep Strike. I also left the 6 Locust Destroyers in Deep Strike with their Locust Lord, so they're going to get full rerolls to hit when they arrive. 3 Scarabs are in reserve, and as well, 1 of the 2-man squads of Spiders. And I'll try to emphasize that more, because especially with this list being heavy Deep Strike, I'll make sure to talk about those things and make sure you guys know what's off the table and what's, dead. All right, so Lane, in this scenario, would you like to go first or second?
Second. You didn't give me anything to shoot at.
Likewise, I want to go second, because then I can pick stuff up in a weird way. And I win. I win decisively. Uh-oh.
Again, don't you get a 6 like every time?
No, I do not.
This year.
No.
Yeah, remember?
I lost the dice.
Last week, Zach rolled 6 twice in a row.
Okay, that wasn't me. All right.
Dice.
We'll be back after our first movement. So if you think that I just played the same clip of our deployment, no, this is my turn 1. So for secondaries, I got Assassinate. Yeah, that's the only character on the table, and he's actually on the bottom floor. So yeah, strike 1. And then I got Deploy Teleport Homers, and I did draw a 3rd one, and actually Deploy Teleport Homers was the 3rd one I drew, because I also have Behind Enemy Lines, which that's quite a distance to go when I can't do any shenanigans. So I had some thinking to do. I could have sacrificed this squad of Ophidians and just moved them right up to the center and gotten Deploy Teleport Homers there, and that would have given me 3 points. But you know what it wouldn't have given me? A kill on turn 1 to score even the 4 points on that. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that would have given Lane an easy kill. So instead, I tried to play defensively and take away, since I couldn't kill a unit and we don't score the hold 1, hold more on turn 1, I figured it was best in this scenario to try and make it difficult, if not impossible, for Lane to score the killing a unit on turn 1 and just pass it into turn 2, when I can start doing some of my shenanigans, pull units off the table, and play the game from there. It's disappointing that this is going to be my turn 1, but this seems like the best tactical play I could come up with at this time. So that's going to be it for me. I will score nothing and just move over into Lane's turn.
So my secondaries this turn are going to be Engage in all fronts and no prisoners. I also pulled a Storm Hostile objective, but DJ did not do me the courtesy of being on any objectives that I can get to, so I would not be able to storm any hostile ones anyway.
Well, not with that attitude.
So no hostilities were detected on any of the objectives, so I'll not be able to storm them.
Now, real quick, I didn't mention for my turn. Just want to throw it out there real quick. I had secondaries for deploy teleport homers behind enemy lines and assassinate. I pitched assassinate as my extra of the third to get rid of, and then I pitched deploy teleport homers to gain an additional command point, holding on to behind enemy lines because that's one that I could still potentially do into my turn. Okay. Back to you, Lane.
So I advanced this Redemptor up here just to get me engage. For 3, get baby engage. Move my dreadnoughts up. I'm not all that worried about being shot. We'll see how that goes for me. And then I moved this Repulsor Executioner up so he can see, what are the heavy destroyers?
Yep. Locust heavy destroyers with enigmatic exterminator.
So many words.
Yeah, right.
So many syllables.
Big bug with big gun.
So I chose them as my Oath of Moment target because I have no prisoners. I got to kill something. Also, for the primary, I want to kill something. So, but really, it's just this Repulsor Executioner that's got the shots. So they're my Oath target. And I also popped off lethal hits this turn because I just wanted to try and make them go because it'd be a huge point swing if I could finish them off with the Repulsor. So I'm going to put my shots down there, but that's really the only shooting I've got, and we'll see what how the score shakes out. Okay, I took a little bit of a risk by popping my lethal hits when I knew just this one vehicle was going to be in range of a target, but I also knew it would be a big point swing if I could pick up the Locust Heavies. So by weight of dice and by just getting those lethals in there, we were able to pick them up, even though one of the DJ did then make the save on one of the big lasers from that. But the rest of those, there's a whole bunch of shots on these Repulsor Executioners. So we were able to pick up the squad. That's huge. It gives me 2 points for no prisoners. It gives me 8 points for kill more because I killed the unit and DJ killed 0 units. So I also got kill more. And then I did engage in all fronts for 3 because I got my Dreadnought ran over here. And that's DJ. What are you doing?
Well, you see, at the end of your turn, the Necrons have the hyperphasing ability, so I get to select up to 3 units. So first, I'm picking up my Ophidians that do not affect this because they have the inherent ability to pick up off the field. Mm-hmm. The Locust Lord that you did not finish off, he still has his enhancement to let some deep strike, so he's going to get out of here. And I'm going to pick 2 more units to pull off the board, and we're going to start playing some Warhammer.
Oh, he was attached to that unit?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, he was, and now the unit's gone. But he's still around, and he still has it, and he still has the deep strike keyword, so he's going to be my friend this game. There this turn. We'll see what he can do.
All right, we're going to go over then to DJ's turn and see how he plays it out.
All right, now we're going to do some work. So we got Defend Stronghold, as well as Secure No Man's Land. So I did go after the 3rd card, and I ended up pitching behind enemy lines. So I didn't really want to expend too many resources in that fashion this early on. Especially with Lane still has a lot of damage to even start moving into position. So for this turn, we're going to focus on this Dreadnought over here a little bit. And then way over here, we're going to put some heat into that tank and see if we can't hopefully remove it. We'll see how my dice like me and how some of these abilities work. So from right to left, the Spiders moved up, and they're going to shoot and charge most likely the Dreadnought. Either way, they are able to tag the objective, so we'll get those points for Secure No Man's Land. And the Scarabs moved in behind just to be ready to go into a corner if necessary or help out in later turns. They weren't able to quite get the movement to give me a decent charge. The Locust Lord, he had the enhancement for Deep Strike for his unit that is no longer around. But it says the models, the bearer and his unit. So he is still allowed Deep Strike, and well, that's what he's going to do. He's going to Deep Strike right in there and finish off Secure No Man's Land for taking objective marker number 2. And then, well, yeah, he's got this. Totally got this.
He's going to be around forever.
Forever. Epic foreshadowing. The Ophidians didn't have a role going into my secondaries this mission, so I just put them down here in the corner to hang out and wait till next turn. These Death Marks came back, and they're drawing a line into the tank as well as hopefully shoot the guys out that pop out of it if need be, as well as these Death Marks in the corner. Locust Heavies moved into position to do what Locust Heavies do and try and put some big heavy damage onto the tank. And the regular Locusts that have full rerolls on their lethal hit arrive on the battlefield to also put some shots into this tank. All right, that's basically it. And we're going to do some shooting and see how this all pans out. Well, we didn't do too much in the shooting phase, but we did burn all of Lane's command points away. So I don't know how good of the thing that's going to be, but hey, it's a thing. So Locust Heavies shot. And this had Lane pop smoke and use Armor of Contempt and a command
And
point
a CP
reroll.
reroll.
So 3 command points in here. But it did give him it did stop one of my hits from going through. I hit it twice, or I hit 3 times, wounded twice, and he saved 1. So it was only going to put 6 damage there. Wraith shot to no avail because the smoke giving it -1 to hit, and them already not having a great ballistic skill. And then the Locust, which I learned that they would have had full rerolls anyways, even though they came out strategic because the unit's on the objective. But that's okay. It doesn't matter at this point. They shot, and Lane just spiked the saves.
Yeah, because of smoke and Armor of Contempt, I was functionally had a 3-up still against them. So he did like 10 wounds to me, but I saved all of them but 1. So good dice there.
So we're going to have to do some charging. Also over here, the spider shot, and it was able to put 2 devastating wounds onto him. So he's down to 10, and we're going to go and do some charges just to try and keep some of Lane's army back. Well, it probably wasn't the best idea to charge the spiders in there. I did lose 1 in the process, and he's down to 4 wounds. I still take the objective for my secondary purposes, and I mean, I get the Dreadnought down to 7, but unfortunately, that was only because of the tank shock. I could not buy a 6 this turn when I needed it. My to-wound rolls were horrible. My hits were good. Everything else was golden. It was just the wound rolls this turn. I could not hit the dice. Over here with the race was the same deal. We were able to do a little bit of damage to get him down to 3, but he's not removed from the field, which means I'm not going to get any points for killing a unit, and I will only get the 4 this turn for simply holding the objective, which means Lane only needs to kill 1 unit to get another 8 on that. I did, however, score both of my I will score both of my secondaries unless Lane steals my home field objective. So I will at least get the 5 on secondaries, and you. That's all I can really say about that turn is you. And let's pass it over to here, I'll give credit where credit's due. This is where my dice are going. I failed an armor save on a Wraith, failed to feel no pain, and took a damage from a repulsor attacking me in combat. Okay, this is my bad dice turn. That's it. Tank. Now it's time to tap into my inner Tims and start rolling 6s for
your inner Tims.
The inner Tims. Because right now it's the outer Tims. Now it's time for inner Tims. You haven't seen me at my full power.
Secondaries I pulled are No Man's Land and Overwhelming Force, which are actually pretty great because after moving, I'm going to get up here. In this case, I'm going to have to either make a charge with this guy. I don't want to kill this spider in shooting, and I can shoot at him because he's a vehicle, but I need to get somebody on this objective. So I'm probably just going to wait to finish him off in combat. And then I move this Dreadnought up here, and then we're just going to shoot that guy and then hopefully punch him a little bit. Oh, what's his OC, DJ? It's probably just like 1, right? His character?
27.
Like 1?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then I think the Dreadnought's 3 or 4.
He might be 2 because of the Locust body. I'll check real quick, but that's about it. Just because the Locusts are 2, so he might get a +1 because of that. But
sure, Dreadnoughts are like 4 or 5.
Right. Not enough to control it, but just for argument's sake, I'll look it up.
And I just kept this repulsor here. He's only down to 3 wounds, but I've got 1 command point. So what I think I'm going to do is really just try to stay here, tank another turn of damage from these guys because I will spend 1 CP to Armor Contempt, and just tie these spiders up for 1 more turn. Not spiders, these wraiths for 1 more turn, and then they'll kill the tank in the next turn. So I'm hoping I just stick around for 1 more. But I can put a couple lasers downtown into these guys. I can put some lasers from this repulsor over there. And he's OC2, so the Dreadnought takes it even if I don't kill him. Right. But I do want to kill him because I got Overwhelming Force, which is kill things on objectives. So that's it. I'm just going to shoot a few things. And then in the combat phase, I'm just going to hope and pray and use Armor of Contempt to see that this Repulsor Executioner survives. Okay, not a whole lot of damage and shooting. Did take a couple wounds off of this guy. He's down to 3 wounds, so I only need to get 1 punch from the Dreadnought to kill him. I don't need to kill him to take the objective, but I do need to kill him for Overwhelming Force.
And the mission primary.
And then I did manage to shoot off one of these Wraiths in shooting. Both of the big lasers missed, so failed to do the damage there. Just picked him up with some piddly little shots. This guy shot downtown into destroyers, Locusts.
Swing and a miss.
Nah, didn't do anything there either. So not much damage for my shooting. But I intentionally didn't bring in my stuff from Deep Strike Reserves yet because I think I can score just by, if I kill him and kill him, we're in good shape. So I'm going to do my charges, do my fight, and then we'll see how everything shakes out. Good news! This spider is dead. Bad news is that the spider exploded. Both spiders exploded when they died, so they put some wounds on my dreadnoughts. But they're only one wound because they're just little spiders. Good news! Good news! I popped this character here with the dreadnought. I did decide to spend my last CP on tank shock because I wanted to make sure he has a 4-up invul, and I wanted to make sure he's died. I wanted to score those secondaries, but because I spent my last CP there, I could not Armor of Contempt on my repulsor, and the very last attack from the character managed to go through and finish him off. So the repulsor did explode. That's not what I wanted to have happen. I wanted them to just survive one more turn, because they were wounded on the 6s, but they managed to get enough through.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who finished him?
These guys.
The Technomancer.
I don't know what your guys are called.
Smacked him with a stave.
A number of times I played against Necrons. You think I know what they are. And I don't. There's a race. I don't know what he is.
That's the Technomancer.
Some dude. And then the Eradicators took a wound on the way out. So not great there. That does give DJ 4 points for primary on kill 1, because he does kill 1 this turn. But I did still kill more because I picked up the 2 units here and here. And I also scored 10 on secondaries for Secure No Man's Land and Overwhelming Force. So good news overall for the turn, but I was sad to lose. I was hoping that Repulsor survived another one. So on to DJ's turn. DJ, are you picking things up?
Yes, I picked the Amphibians up again.
Of course, as always.
I will be picking up the Locust, but because everyone knows my love of flight bases, they're not going to actually, I'm not physically moving them.
Sure.
So I have 2 more to pick up. I feel like these death marks can move up. They won't, like one of them can shoot at your guys. So these guys are in a kind of a bad position. So I think these guys are going to get picked up. So that's the Locust, that's them. And with what I have coming in, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. What do you think? I'm actually thinking about picking up I'm thinking about picking up the Locust heavies to bring them back in on an angle to be able to shoot at some of your vehicles and stuff.
I mean, they can move forward and get this dreadnought.
They really
here,
can. They still are in a good position.
Or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I think I'll pick up these spiders back here to get them out of there because the Locust, like you just said, the Locust can do it. Yeah, these death marks can hang out back there for a turn, so I think that's what we're going to go with.
So this is everything that's been picked up and come back again, plus your stuff you have in Deep Strike. So.
And the Locust over there that I'm deciding on.
And the Locust over here. Oh, this is Army. This is like playing Grey Knights, except these guys shoot harder. So on to DJ's turn.
All right, so now at this point in time, my entire army is on the table except for what Lane has destroyed already. So I got Area Denial, Overwhelming Force, as well as Bring It Down. Sadly, I already killed the Repulsor. That would have been a huge chunk of points. So instead, I got to pick on some Dreadnoughts, and they're pretty tough. There's a lot that goes into this turn. So take a good look at the table real quick, because there was something interesting that I did. Lane still has Terminators and a squad of Eradicators in Deep Strike and Reserve. Right now, at this point in time, basically the only place these guys can come in is right here, really, in this pocket. So I funneled down where these guys' effectiveness is going to be. This is the only one of the big advantages of going first, one of very, very few advantages of going first, is being in a position like this. I have a really large army, so at least I put these guys back. So maybe I can mitigate on my terms what he's hitting, starting from right to left. So I brought the Locust back in. I spent a command point to bring them in within 3 inches. And they're going to shoot. They're going to have to vaporize that entire squad, including the character, in order to get Overwhelming Force from there. But hey, we got some guns. We got some gauze going in there. Over here, we move the Scarabs up so they can try and charge, blow up, and do some mortal wounds to one of these vehicles, getting +1 when they blow up for whoever remains. We put the Ophidians down within 9 so they can try and charge. Not a good option, but it's just an option. It's just dice. And then these spiders came in from strategic to shoot, and we'll see where they go and can shoot some guns and what they can do. This spider over here also came on to put shots in center, was really their only option. I can put one of the spiders, actually both of them do have line of sight into the guy with 11 wounds left, so I could go that way if need be, but Hope, yeah, I'll probably need B. I'm looking at all my non-AP, non-weapons. Yeah, I'm going to need it. Everything is going to have to go into those dreads if I hope to even take one of them down.
And they're 2-up armor to the dread, so.
Right. Centipede, he landed. Now he gets +1 AP versus units that are on objective markers.
Uh-huh.
So that's nice. I'll still be hitting on 4s, but at least he's going to be able to put some damage into the dreads and help out. The big damage dealers are going to be his locusts that move up into this building and are now going to be able to draw a line of sight into those guys to put shots into there, pending no one else just goes crazy and blows them up. So, which I sincerely doubt they will, but hey, we got options. So this dread is probably not going to get hit this turn, unless I get real lucky and start picking up dreads like there's no tomorrow. And then other things. These guys just moved in position to continue my wall of deep strike protection. Same with the Ophidians, came back in, so that if I decide to pick up the death marks next turn, I'm in that type of position. The Wraiths did not move. I didn't want to hit an Overwatch. Besides, they're perfectly fine to be able to shoot their pistols and then charge and finish off these Eradicators. And then over here, these death marks land just to put a little bit of extra heat on the Eradicators, and I feel good about where they are. So whole bunch went on there. Tried to put up a good little move block to kind of isolate Lane's deep strike so that he's only able to deep strike in a small pocket and not able to mess with me on the backfield. So that was helpful. And that's kind of what I have to do because I am not removing as much. And although Lane isn't like killing me too quick, now I'm kind of showing my hand. So this is going to be this turn and then Lane's turn, the bottom of the turn. There's good chance there's going to be a whole lot of damage and a lot of carnage. All right, let's do some Necron shooting. Okay, this was a sad turn, and I have a feeling I'm going to see some pain for it.
I'm all smiles, DJ.
The Locust missed. I even spent a CP on a reroll, was able to hit, but still failed to wound, which is not good. So we have a Dreadnought at 8 and a Dreadnought at 3. We're going to have to stick some charges. I got quite a few 9s, but ugh. The Locust, there was some cover and some armor and contempt. And honestly, with those things considered, picking up the 2 guys that were in cover is still not bad. So we'll see what Lane does to react to that. I mean, he's going to be able to bring in some true... It's going to be interesting. He has the ability to bring some guys in to help over there, but with the way the terrain is, it might be tough for him to fully get all the shots on him. Over here, we picked up one of the Eradicators and dropped an Eradicator down to 1 wound. So the Wraiths are going to charge in and try and eat them. And that's really about it. So we got some 9s that we're going to try and stick on some charges over here and see, hopefully, if we can do any damage.
I want to ask you something, DJ. Did you do this on purpose? You shot with these guys here first?
Yes.
And why did you do that?
So I purposely shot with these guys here first because I wanted to burn the Armor of Contempt.
Yeah, so I have a captain in there, and, you know, captains can activate a battle tactic stratagem for free. So the captain was in that unit. Now, he can do that for free, but then I can't do it with another unit. If he shot in another unit first, I could put Armor of Contempt there for 1 CP, and then also do this here for free. But by going after the captain, so when you're playing against Space Marines, tag the unit that has the captain in it first to burn that free CP for that free Armor of Contempt, so they don't get 2 Armor of Contempt in a turn.
Right, that was the whole tet of it. I didn't want to see that happen twice, especially when I was trying to hit these guys and hit them with some like the gauze cannons and things like that, especially when I get an AP boost off the Canoptic Tomb Sentinel. So, all right, let's do some charging and hope for the best. So, I don't ever want to hear Lane say anything bad about my dice ever again.
The manner in which you killed my Redemptor was downright disgraceful.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. And the fact you almost killed my Canoptic Tomb Sentinel in 1 hit, man. Okay, so charge-wise, as you can see, the things that are still back here, they all failed to make a charge. The Scarabs made it in, and so did the Canoptic Tomb Sentinel. The Scarabs, I blew one of them up. I was able to do 2 mortal wounds to that dread. Then I attacked, and nothing happened. And then Lane attacked back, and he killed 2 of them, of which one of them deadly demised and finished off the dread. Oh, and by the way, it's the one that was furthest away, so he didn't hit the Sentinel. And I forgot it was a deadly demise, so I do take a wound.
Took the last wound off from Scarabs.
We'll take it on. Actually,
that's absolutely
we'll take it
uncalled
on
for.
yeah, Scarab's blowing up. Go figure. Over here, the Wraiths did finish their day, finish the job. So they finished off the Eradicators. So that's going to give me 1 kill over there. Then the Redemptor gives me a 2nd kill over there. So I've gotten 2 kills so far for this turn. I don't think that's where that's going to stand. Lane's going to easily be able to pick up 3 somewhere. There's a couple of targets that he can smack, especially now with my Sentinel being down to 3 wounds. I did score, bring it down for 4 points. My army that should be doing great on secondaries is doing horrendous on secondaries. But I did pitch Overwhelming Force just to get another command point. I figure this is supposed to be an army that scores well in the secondary, so hopefully I can make it up into the end game. We got 2 more turns for Necrons to go, and we'll see how this plays out. All right, let's hand this over to Lane in his bottom of 3.
So my secondaries this turn are Deploy, Teleport, Homer, and Cleanse. This is going to be tricky because this is also the turn in which I need to kill things. So I pop my Tome of Ectoclades this turn and pick 2 units that I'll reroll all hits and wounds into. So one is going to be this guy's. They are Tome of Ectocladed, so rerolling hits and wounds into them. And the other one is these heavy destroyers hiding in this building. Because they're not vehicles, I brought in the Eradicators here, but these guys are not vehicles. So in order for the Eradicators to get the rerolls, I need to do the Tome. So I was hoping to have a huge turn of dev wounds, but that's not really going to happen. But I am hoping to pick up several units here to make sure that we score our points. So I have 3 units in the middle of the table.
So who are your 2? The Locust Heavies?
The Locust Heavies.
And the regular Locusts.
The regular Locusts. Now I have 3 units in the table here. So depending how my shooting goes, I can cleanse and deploy teleport homers here. So it depends. I may start the actions and I may cancel them by shooting with these guys because both the ATV and the Dreadnought have a line of sight down here to this unit. They can see the one model in the end, but that is the character. So whatever shooting happens with these units, he can't pull the character, so they'll still have a targeted end. So I'm going to shoot first here, and we'll see what happens with the rest. Let there be no question that on this turn I did get kill more because I popped off my sustained for the entire army for this turn because I was going to try to do some dev wounds. Now, I didn't get a chance to put all my dev wound shots and everything like I was planning for. Like I built up my whole army list video around. Just really didn't get to pop off this turn, but I am satisfied with what happened here. So I moved down here, deep struck in Terminators. We're going to take out the destroyers that are no longer here. Part of that big reason is because when I fired with the Repulsor Executioner, I rolled 2 6s for its big laser, and I was on sustained. So that meant 4 hits. I picked up 4 of those guys with just the big laser, and then wrecked most of the rest of that squad with the rest of the shooting, and then the Terminators with their assault cannons picked up the rest of them, including the character. These Eradicators shot downtown and picked up the Sentinel. This Dreadnought, with just his shooting, shot through the rest of the Scarabs. These Eradicators shot the heavy destroyers that were hiding in the building here. And then the Dreadnought and the ATV just stayed there. One did deploy teleport homers. The other did cleanse. So we got 6 points on secondaries. Not bad for secondaries, but very satisfied with putting some hurt on DJ, some of his units. DJ did kill 2 units this turn, but I killed 5 in total, counting the destroyers and their character. So yeah, that's the end of my turn. On to DJ.
No, it is not.
What?
I have an announcement to make.
Oh, an announcement.
I am declaring a gambit. End of the 3rd battle round, I can declare if I wish to issue a gambit, and I will. I will do orbital strike relay. So I'm going to be trying to get units into table corners at the end of the game to score 30 points.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. I did it. I'm doing it. I'm going for it.
Okay. Well, cool. That's going to be happening in this game, so that's a surprise to me. But here we go. Moving on.
All right, so off the coattails of a gambit, I got capture enemy outpost, cleanse, and extend battle lines. Can we guess which one I discarded? If you said extend battle lines, you were incorrect. It was capture enemy outpost because I'm not going anywhere back there. Anywho, all right, so first of all, cleanse. Spend a command point to drop within 3, got overwatched and lost 1 death mark in the process, but we'll be able to cleanse this objective with the... Oh, we bumped him. He was supposed to be there. So there was, I have the spiders and the death mark on there, so I'll be able to do that and take that objective marker. Over here, the wraiths are going to cleanse this objective marker. So now, and then I hold my home objective marker with an Ophidian. Whoopsie. Now I don't. Now I do. All right. Let's play. We know how to play Warhammer.
Judge.
So we got this. And listen, you said you overwatched that debris right there, but I specifically see you rolling an overwatch for this dread against my death mark. So
yeah, but you moved during the record.
I also moved that, and you said you overwatch. Anyways,
you moved during the record what you did step, which we know you're not allowed to move during the recording phase.
I don't see that in the rules, but no, but it was yeah. We got these guys hiding back here. They were supposed to be there on that Ophidian there, and I'll get extend battle lines, and yeah, we'll get 10 on secondary. We're gonna do some shooting, and that's pretty much going to be the turn. We are playing off the gambit now. So the dice continue to go south on me. I mean, granted, I'll say this. The dice rolls have been extremely low, but the weapons that I'm looking at putting into stuff are not really the guns that you want to do the shoot into some of these things. So it kind of waits out of the game saying, DJ, stop it. Stop trying to just roll sixes. I put a whole bunch of shots into this guy, from the death marks that I brought in over here to the spiders themselves. And he's down to 6 wounds, opted out of charging, so I didn't get punched and lose objective control. And then over here we shot, and I think I did like 1 wound on a devastating, and that was it from these spiders. They had blast, and I just rolled absolutely pathetic for the number of shots. So we're just going to score the 10 points and call it a turn, and put it over to Lane and see how Lane decides to answer back.
I'm going to spend CP to pick up. I can do this too, DJ. It's just 1 unit. But Deathwatch have Teleportarium. So.
All right. Back over to Lane.
Oh, my little kiddos, it's go time. We pulled the Area Denial and Bring It Down. Also pulled Assassinate, but the only way I was going to get Assassinate if I picked up the entire Wraith squad, and I was in no position to do that. But being that I have all these units in the middle, Area Denial is easy peasy. Bring It Down. The spiders are vehicles, and it's each vehicle model. So I'm hoping to pick up all 4 spiders this turn. I did Oath this unit of spiders, and I deep struck my Terminators because I had scooped them up with my Teleportarium strat. So we're going to put some bullets out there and see what happens. Shooting was very successful. The Repulsor Executioner picked up these spiders pretty quickly, and then the Eradicators did work into the other set of spiders that were there. However, DJ did pop his strat that gave his vehicle unit a 4-up embalm. It did make it a little harder to kill them because he bounced a couple of Eradicator shots off, but then the Dreadnought was able to pick up the rest of the damage with his shooting to finish them off, and then picked up some death marks and shooting. There was 1 left in this near squad, but my Redemptor, we just rolled it out pretty quick. He charged him, then killed him, and then was able to consolidate back onto objective and keep that objective. So failed the charge over here with the Terminators, but feeling pretty good about the sheer quantity of damage I did in this turn. Did max out, Bring It Down because I killed 4 vehicles. And then Area Denial, I got the 5 points on that as well. So good 13 points on secondaries, big turn.
So on turn 5, I actually pulled the perfect secondaries. It's not going to matter very much, but I did pull them.
It's hilariously perfect.
Yeah. I got Investigate, Signals, and Engage on all fronts. So I'm actually going to score 13 on secondaries because I'm going to be able to use all 4 units in all 4 corners to investigate signals, and I'm pretty sure I'm engaging on all fronts as well there too. So the only other thing to do is just try to mess with Lane's ability to score points a little bit. So I brought the Wraiths out. They're going to need a 9-inch charge to be able to make it to the Eradicators in the center. So we'll probably just shoot their pistols at something else and then rush in there and see what we can make happen. And then we'll come back basically for that Gambit dice roll and see if I can score 30 points. All right, so nothing happened. So I moved out. I tried to mess with Lane a little bit. Took a couple shots. I actually hit 3 devastating wounds on his little ATV and then failed the charge. So now there's only one thing left to do. All right, so all that's left, I need a 9. I failed 2 9s in a row on a charge. 3rd time's the charm.
It's so easy to roll a 9, DJ. Show us how it's done.
Just roll a 9. Yeah, just roll a 9. Just roll a 9. And there it is! 9!
Stop it.
30 points on the Gambit.
There it is.
Second time on camera.
I totally forgot the Gambits existed, and now we have a 9 on the dice.
Right.
All right. Scoring my secondaries for the end was pretty easy because I had Extend and Defense Stronghold, and they would be easy at this point in the game. But we decided to play it out and have some fun. So these Scarabs that were in this corner were destroyed quite handily by the company champion and the captain here with their 15 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 5, AP 2, 2 damage. The Redemptor Dreadnought made short work of the remaining
Death marks.
The Terminators had pretty good damage output into the last Ophidians over there, but the Repulsor did have to finish off the last one with this big laser cannon. The rest of his shots went into these Ophidians, who left with 3 wounds. And then all the shooting into the Wraiths. DJ rolled pretty poor on his 4-up inbones, and we did manage to pick up all the Wraiths. The Redemptor made his charge, but kept the last character alive here on 1 wound to manage to survive. So not quite a total tabling. However,
I'm still got two.
Despite the fact that the Necrons pulled off a miraculous Gambit, well, I mean, with this primary mission and with the secondaries, the special mission being able to pull an extra card just means it's going to be a high-scoring game either way. So the Necrons, after successfully popping a Gambit, had 91. The Deathwatch have, however, if we didn't put any caps on primaries or secondaries, Deathwatch would have scored 112. But we'll say it's 100 because we're just going to play by the rules. So Deathwatch 100, Necrons 91. Follow us over to the post-game battle report, guys, where we'll talk a little bit about how everything went, how everything played, especially with the new detachment DJ's playing and my new style of devastating wound Deathwatch list. We'll see you over there.